Welcome, and thanks for joining us today. You're listening to the Women's Broadcast Television Expert Spotlight Show, and I'm your host, Shay Vaughn. WBTVN is the all-women's internet television station with content that's created by women and for women. And joining us today on our WBTVN Expert Spotlight Show is Alicia Dunams. And she actually has a really interesting background because she's really worked with small businesses for over 16 years, and that's far past what the average is. And she also really helps other people to be able to, if they want to do a book, she helps them to get that written and get it out. She supports them in every way possible. She also is a graduate from the University of Los Angeles, let's say that, and in English literature. And we're going to talk about a summit that she's got coming up really quick, and she's going to give us the details on that. So welcome to the show, Alicia. We're so happy to have you.
Hey, it's so great to be here. Thank you so much. And that was at UCLA.
Yeah, UCLA.
I was back in the day. So thank you for that introduction.
Well, thank you for correcting me. I want to make sure everybody has the right information on you. But I just love all of the things that you're doing. And if you would be kind enough just to give us a little bit of background about what was it like growing up and how did you actually get to where you are today?
Well, that's a long story. It's going back in the day now. I was born in 1975. So you mentioned that I support people and helping books, and I'll kind of use that as a context. So really, in the last 10 years, I've helped several thousand people write books through my Bestseller in a Weekend program and the book funnel. And really how I got started in the whole book writing thing was I wrote my own book back in 2007 called Goal Digger, Goal Digger, Lessons Learned from the Rich Men I Dated. And I was just this morning on KTLA Los Angeles talking about Goal Digger and also 5 money tips for women. And I wouldn't consider myself a financial expert. I would really consider myself a wealth creation expert or creating businesses. And that's what I've been really good at in terms of having my own business for 16 years and making a great living doing it, but still having a lifestyle business. So the reason I wrote my book 10 years ago, it's actually in its 10th year anniversary, written back in 2007, is I was a single mother and had my daughter at 25, and I was just trying to figure things out on my own. I was working and had it all covered. I felt like I got this. I had it all done. And one year for Christmas, I went to a New Year's Eve party, and it was at my mom's friend's daughter's house, and she was married to Eddie Murphy at the time. And I went to the party, and this was up in Sacramento, California, and everyone was having a good time. My mom and her friends were having a great time, and they were getting a little tipsy. And they came over to me and they're like, Alicia, you work so hard. You do everything on yourself. You should be with someone who can take care of you. You should be with a millionaire. And that's what they were telling me. And I was like, oh my goodness. It was actually I felt it was disparaging because I felt like I was doing fine by myself. And I felt like it wasn't a good moment, I would say. It was kind of a moment where I doubted myself and I doubted what I've been doing for so many years. I felt really proud of what I was doing, but at that moment I had doubt. And so with that kind of, they said, you should be with a millionaire like Nicole Murphy, who was married to Eddie Murphy at the time. And I looked over at Nicole at that time, and she's beautiful, and big houses everywhere, and cars, and diamonds, and I felt really small at that point. So I went home that day, and I remember I picked my daughter up from the babysitter, and I just drove into my garage and started to cry, feeling like, oh my goodness, I'm doing everything on my own. Maybe I should be married to someone who can take care of everything. And then I at that time I was dating someone who was a total commitment phobe. This was in my mid-20s, and I was working from home. And when I worked from home, I used to turn on like the Dr. Phil show or Oprah Winfrey during the day. This is when I actually had TV, had the cable channels and the local channels.
Of course.
And so Dr. Phil's show was talking about gold diggers, GOLD, gold diggers. And,
Exactly.
and he had a panel of women who are like, I only date wealthy men. And there was a woman in the front row, and she was the expert, and she goes, you women have it all wrong. And she goes, I have an agency that introduces, she goes, wealthy men want to be with women who are smart and who are intelligent and who have things going on. They don't want to be with gold diggers. And then she said she had an agency that introduced those type of men to those type of women. So Shay, can you guess who that woman was?
No, I can't.
Well, she's Patty Stanger, the millionaire matchmaker, before she was
before she got on and did the show. Oh, fantastic.
This is when she had like a full-on matchmaking agency. It was called Millionaires Club 123.
Oh, yeah.
So I said, well, maybe that's my entree. Maybe that's my entry into this world. So I took a whole bunch of pictures and put it in an envelope and snail mailed it to her. And about 2 weeks later, I got a call from her.
Okay.
And yes. So that's kind of how the story began in terms of my book, Gold Digger.
Wow. So, but more interesting though, what happened after all of that? I mean, did you do anything on the show with her, or did you give her?
No, she didn't have a show that. Sorry, my doggy's right here to get so excited. Okay. When dogs go by. So no, this was before she had a show. So what happened is she started introducing me to men. And I was being flown down to LA and being wined and dined by millionaires. And I went on a couple dates. And when I started to talk to these men, I would ask them, how did they create their wealth? How did they start their business? What did they do that was different from what I did?
Exactly.
That was different. And they were pretty impressed with me because after I graduated from UCLA, I backpacked around the world by myself for a year. At that time, I've been to over 40 countries. I was a great mom to a young baby, and I had bought my house. And they're like, "You're doing really great. You're in your 20s."
Exactly.
And so I asked him, I go, "How are you different from me?" And this one gentleman I was dating, he said, "Alicia, you're industrious enough to be a millionaire on your own." And so that was really the kind of tipping point, if you will, in terms of my journey. I knew that I wasn't interested in just dating men for money. That's not who I am at all. I'm very financially independent. I like doing things on my own, but I thought this is a great thing to learn on what they create. And there's several things that I learned, and it's something that I incorporate in my life today. It's the power of positive thinking. I mean, that's really the foundation of the millionaire mindset is thinking positively, setting intention, dreaming it, declaring it, delivering it. There's so many, taking risks, really visualizing what you want to create and taking the steps to do it. So there's a lot of both mindset principles and logistical principles to create wealth in all areas of your life. And so my book is about that. And through that process, so I wrote my book and started appearing on TV, and I was like, okay, how am I going to monetize this book? And so I took a look at who was on the New York Times bestseller list at that time. This was back in 2007. So it was Laurel Langmeyer, Christine Comerford, Marcy Shimoff. And I said, okay, what are these women doing to make money, basically beyond their book? And I saw that Laurel Langmeyer did seminars and coaching. Same thing with Marcy Shimoff, and Christine Comerford was a consultant in Silicon Valley. So I said, well, I guess I get to do seminars and maybe I coach people. And so I created a conference, a women's conference called Wealthy Girl Summit that I had in 2008. And I did this event. It was a large event. I had Laurel Langmeyer, all the major women speakers at that time on my stage. And what I found is it was a good event, but I found it wasn't a money maker. And it was interesting, after the event, I had several of the speakers come up to me and say, hey, you wrote a book. Can you help me write a book? And that's really how I started my business, Bestselling in the book funnel.
Right. And you know what? There's so many people that have great ideas, and they know what they want to write, but they don't know who to turn to that's really going to help them, because they don't really even know how to get started on that. They sit down with a pen and pencil and they kind of like scribble a couple of things, say, oh, that's not going to work, and that gets thrown away. And they start all over again. So I can totally understand why that business has just exploded for you. Because when you reach out and you help other people to create and tell their story through writing a book, that's pretty, that's great. That's pretty, great.
It's been a blessing to meet the people that I have met, to support them on their journey, to see them magnify their message, get their voice out there on so many different levels, from speaking at the United Nations to appearing on 2020 to becoming New York Times bestselling authors. It's been really a great pleasure to work with these people on so many deep levels and to support them in getting their message out in the world, especially, I'm very dedicated to women and getting their message, and that writing a book can be very much a healing process. And I have a new program I'm launching actually called Authoring Leadership, and using book writing as a tool for collaboration and really sharing your story, opening up yourself to vulnerability and transparency, and really getting your message out there. So being a leader, writing a book is a way to be a leader, is to step up on that stage. And if not us, then who's going to do it? So we have a big responsibility.
I think more importantly, seriously, about what you're really doing is bringing women together and collaborating with them. And I have to really tell you from the bottom of my heart, and I've said this on the show to my audience many times, and that is that women are not the best collaborators. And I don't say that negatively. What I am saying is that we definitely believe at WBTVN that Women United are changing the world. And I think that we share the same values in bringing women together, giving them a platform so that they can get their message out there. But I think that more importantly, we just really need to get past the fact that jealousy sets in, or using your sexuality to get to where you want to be. All of those kinds of things are just not things that need to be part of our lives. They just don't. We need to embrace all of the talent, the intellectuals, all of the, you don't have to be a star to be, to build a business, or a celebrity to build a business, or to get on TV, or to write a book, or to do those things. Each of us have this star from within us that helps us to be who we are. And I love your comment about, get rid of the negative thoughts and replace them with something else, because if we believe that we can do something, we will find a way through that. But if there's always doubt there, that is going to take over. So I love all the things, that you're doing. Tell me a little bit about what you do at the summits, because you are there to, bring women together, to collaborate with them, to come together, to network, basically, and to find, different things in their life that maybe that they come to the summit, that they're going to find a partner or something that they need that's going to come from someone else. But we always need to go to those kinds of things, thinking about us giving, not taking.
Your net worth is your network. And so Wealthy Girl Summit is all about connecting women and giving women a voice and a stage to magnify their voice. That's something that's very speaks to my heart. So I'm really creating a space, creating a platform, if you will, for women to come together in collaboration, leave egos out the door, and it's about abundance. There's enough. So in terms of jealousy and climbing, the glass ceiling and women climbing themselves to the top and not bringing women up with them, that all comes from a scarcity mindset that there's not enough, but that there is absolutely enough at the top. So I say there's enough room at the table and there's enough room on the stage. And so something that I'm really passionate about is coming from abundance in that way. So bringing speakers from all parts of the world and bringing women together to talk about increasing their net worth. So increasing women's earning capacity so that they can create impact in the world. Because when women make more money, they're going to give back in so many different ways to their community, to children, to education, to policy that affects women. And so that's where we get to come from source, not from the place of, like I was speaking at KTLA this morning, where, we make a certain amount of money and we have to fight for what we make. It's, instead of coming from that mindset, it's coming from abundance. It's like, there is more from where that came from. Yeah. So creating more through business, through connections, through opportunities. So that's what this space is for. I love other women. I want to support women in any way I can. And it's a conference to support women. And I love men who love women, and I love men and I support men. But I think in this particular case, women need further empowerment around what is possible when it comes to creating wealth, creating business, monetizing your brand, etc.
Yeah. And it's harder, and I don't know if our audience really knows this, but it's harder for women to get the opportunities to speak on major stages because it's dominated by men. And so this is an opportunity that you're really giving, other women the chance to come and be on the stage, talk about how they're, what they're doing and their success, and share it. And for other women to hear it, because I think that's so powerful. When they, many times, when we're struggling, we think we're the only one that's that's doing that. And there's so many people out there, other women that have done it, but they've broken through those barriers, and they've become extremely successful, like yourself. And I think those are the messages that other women, need. And I totally agree with you. I support men all the time. But at WBTVN, what we really say is that we support women and the men that stand shoulder to shoulder with us, next to us.
I love that.
Yeah, and I love that too, because it's so true. But we need to open up opportunities for women, because they really do not have the same kinds of opportunities that men do for certain things, like speaking internationally. And that's not to say that some women don't, but it's not the percentage of the same. It's not an equal balance. And that's okay, because the pendulum is never always, balanced. But we definitely do feel that there are just great women with, with voices and a message that needs to be delivered. And we want to be able to help them to be able to do that. So I know that you've got an event coming up on the 31st of March.
Yes.
Which is right around the corner. And it's from 9 to 6, 9 o'clock in the morning till 6. And you've just got a full, day planned for everybody that, shows up. Tell me a little bit about what you're going to be talking about, what that day is going to look like.
It's going to be a powerful day. So it's all about women's empowerment. So we are, again, March 31st, Wealthy Girls Summit is going to come to Los Angeles with amazing speakers and panel speakers and keynote speakers around the conversation of wealth, money making, brand building, starting businesses, investing. And we are going to be at the Lux Hotel in Bel Air. And really the day is about, we have panels on the money mindset, we have panels on real estate and investing, we have panels on negotiation, we have panels on how to make money online, entrepreneurship. We also are going to be talking about brand building and monetizing your brand, because we live in an age where you build your brand through spokesperson work and through affiliate commissions and through various partnerships and deals. You can really monetize what you've created, especially if you have a social media following. So we're going to be really focusing on that as well, how to turn leadership skills we have some sports stars. Lisa Leslie is going to be there talking about how to take leadership skills from the sports field into the boardroom. And also boss bitch, Nicole Lappin, New York Times bestselling author, will be talking about how to really master finances and then master your career as well. So it's about women's empowerment. And as you mentioned, speaking to women don't maybe have as many opportunities. Well, I can tell you this right now, Shay, is that the cavalry is not coming. We are the cavalry. So if it's not us,
unite together. I love it, girl. I love it. So true.
Absolutely. So it's like I'm not going to sit back and whine and complain that there's not enough opportunities for women. We get to create it, and so that's why I'm out there doing this, and we get to create that ripple effect. So, through blood, sweat, and tears, whatever it takes, we get to create the platform to support women and to build to build women up. And you know what, we're there. It's happening. So
it's definitely happening. And I see the unitedness of women wanting to, to give back and to help other women and provide opportunities for them. And I love events where people can come and talk about these things and learn about, because everybody has certain skills, but there's certain skills that they don't have. And what they're going to learn is that on the financial side of it, I was in finance for 12 years, so I understand that world. And I do know that there's a lot of women that don't know a lot about finance, but there's women out there that are just absolutely experts on that. They just, it's like anything else. And those things that you don't do well, then you build your team, right? And you get somebody that's going to help you with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, that's really what it takes. So we fill in those areas that we think that maybe we can do, but we find out that we don't, that we can't. And what's important is that's okay, because it gives us time to do the things that we're really good at.
Absolutely. Focus on what you're passionate about. And when you focus on grows, it's a law of attraction principle. There's laws, universal laws that just ring true. And when you focus on grows. And so if you focus on, I've been a business owner for 16 years. I have not had a boss since I was in my early 20s. And that was a very short time, because I went from UCLA, then I went and backpacked around the world, and I was a travel writer. Then I came back and I worked for 8 months at Genentech. And that's that's pretty much the time. I think I had a couple of other little small jobs like that for about a year and a half together. And I've been my own boss. I determine the lifestyle I lead. I do yoga every day, but then when I come and work in my office, it's powerful. I'm reaching out to women, to connecting with people, and I'm able to make a great living, but also really support the lifestyle. And that is being a mom to my daughter, which is my number one priority, being able to be here for her, pick her up, take her back to school, go to school outings, take her to her, acting and modeling and singing and what have you. That's my priority. And so if that's your priority, you design your life around your perfect life. So you design your work, you design everything around your perfect day. And I truly believe in that principle.
I totally believe in that too. And even more importantly, be present at whatever you're doing. Because that's the most important time, is right then and there, and what's happening in front of you. So words of wisdom you've given, so much, because I think that you have just demonstrated to all of us that you're just a real entrepreneur. And of course, with entrepreneurship, we think that, boy, it's going to be nice to be our own boss. I'm not going to have somebody telling me what to do or whatever. I think we put more stress on ourselves knowing that we've made a decision, to be our own boss, and there's things that we have to do because there's nobody pushing us. It's just only us. And that can be, daunting. And many times I can tell you, as an entrepreneur, I used to say, I thought, I didn't know it was going to be this hard. This is hard. And I've had lots of jobs out there. And I thought they were difficult, but not anything like really being an entrepreneur, because you're in charge of everything. You're in charge of everything. And you work longer and harder hours than you would in the normal situation of working 9 to 5. And there's
for some people, I've had several years where I've worked 20 hours a week.
Exactly.
So that's great. I have, in terms of being an entrepreneur, absolutely. There's people who are working 8 hours a week, 16-hour days, what have you. And I've pretty been consistent with 20-hour weeks. And it's your output is a result of what you input. And so I haven't gotten my business to a multiple 7-figure business, but that's okay, because I have the business that I want at this time. Exactly. And so you get to determine what you want. I'm a very laid back person. I love running and going to yoga. I love being connected and being around people, and any type of stress or anything, it's not something I'm interested in. So I'm going to create something that's feels good.
Well, I love that you have filters, and that's really what you're talking about. and taking care of yourself, because especially as entrepreneurs, a lot of people don't tend to do that. And the truth of the matter is, what is the purpose of building a dynasty or just, a great business and making a lot of money and not having the health at the end of it to really be able to enjoy it?
Exactly.
Or that your time has passed by that you don't. Yeah. So, high five to you, girl, for doing all that. Absolutely. I think those things are important. And I think so many times, and especially women, I see it with men and women, but we're always taking care of other people and our families and all of those good things. And we really forget that we need to take care of ourselves. And as far as your daughter is concerned, or anybody's daughter or son or children out there, let me tell you, if you think that they're going to grow up and take care of themselves without you taking care of yourself, you're kidding yourself, because they're going to do and think they should do exactly what you did.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You have taught your daughter how to balance her life with, working out and, listening to a show in the middle of the afternoon to just kind of like maybe clear it all and take that deep breath. I think those things are just really healthy. And I can't put enough emphasis on the fact that we need to do those things. We're human beings and we have our ups and our downs and all of those things, but we need to take care of ourselves. I'm so much about health and wellness, and I know that everybody knows that. But here you are, this great entrepreneur and helping other people and doing summits and getting to where you want to be. And you've got a next level that that you're thinking about, doing and taking your business to, but you're doing it in a way that is healthy. You're taking care of each thing that you need to on a day-to-day basis, and you'll fit the other stuff in when it comes along. So words of wisdom, what would you say?
Words of wisdom would be visualize your ideal 24 hours and work your life around that, your work schedule, everything around that. So start with the vision, and then everything will align with that. Other words of wisdom is dream it, declare it, and deliver it. That for the vocalization, the declaration is speaking it really from dream life into real life. So what you say you create is a very powerful statement. Abracadabra is what you say you create.
Yeah.
And be present. What you said, Shay, be present.
So important.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that. And let's, Alicia, let's let people know where they can get in contact with you.
Absolutely. Well, if you want to come to Wealthy Girl Summit, it's IamAWealthyGirl.com. You can find out more about me at AliciaDunams.com. And if you want to write a book, you can go to bestsellerinAweekend.com to attend the online course, weekend workshop. Or thebookfunnel.com is done for you books. If you want your book ghostwritten, come to thebookfunnel.com.
Great. And I just want to make sure that people can spell your last name. So it's Dunams.
Yes, ALICIADUNAMS.com.
Right. So you can go online, you can see all the things that she's doing, you can see what the current event that's coming up, but she does this on an ongoing basis. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for being our expert person today, and really just thank you for all the goodness that you're doing out there, and just moving forward. I just want to wish you all greatness. And I know that the summit that's coming up is going to be exciting. You've got great speakers and people that are coming there. I'm going to be there, you guys. So anybody that's closer, that wants to come, please don't hesitate. Don't think, oh, it'd be kind of nice to do. Just put it on your calendar and make sure that you show up, because I think that's the only way you're going to get all the answers that you're looking for. So I want to thank my audience also for being with us. And if you're interested in being an expert on our Expert Spotlight show here at WBTVN, just go on and fill out the form and we will get in touch with you. So until the next time, everyone, thank you, Alicia, so much.
Bye-bye. Thank you, Shay. I acknowledge you for the work you're doing in the world for women. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and the same to you, my dear. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.